No mention of God within the first few conversations, cut. Last ex has to be at least 5 years ago, and if you were together, it needs to be less than a year, otherwise cut. Too chatty on socials, please leave that for the girls. You may only repost or share things here and there, but honestly, I don't really want to see you talking on socials unless it's business related, sports related, maybe a little family here and there, but otherwise, close your mouth. I would prefer that way. Children, you wouldn't even be here to be cut. I don't know why I put that on here. Club for leisure, cut. I only may make an exception if it's somebody's birthday, but you have to catch me on a good day because it still might be a cut. Depends how I'm feeling that day. Strip club, cut. Doesn't compliment on who I am as a person and positive attributes that they continue to observe about me as our time goes on. I need to keep hearing new things you're discovering about me and everything you love, or cut. Reference anything a rapper did or said, cut. Follows a lot of women with the IG aesthetic. You guys know which aesthetic I'm talking about, cut. Not ambitious, no mention of goals, current projects. I need you currently always working on a project. I need you always working as a man, otherwise cut. Makes even the slightest comment or insinuates in any way that I'm asking for too much, cut, play in the league. Makes even the slightest comment about something being too hard or too much work, cut. I don't need any sissy lalas around me. Figure it out. Isn't Claire serious about the things he stands for in this world? This could be anything, but I just need you to have a...
I'm sorry, y'all. This stuff is funny, man. The content. Man, let me try to keep it together, man. Yo, people be wildin'. That's all I can say to that.
Clear stance on things in your life and in the world. Please don't be passive. Has no general idea of how to fix basic home and car things. A little bit of plumbing, fixing lights, things like that, hanging things up, car, some brakes, maybe tires, the basics, if not cut. Overnight Airbnbs with friends. Nothing good happens at an Airbnb after dark. Nothing good happens at Airbnbs in general, so you will not be at Airbnbs or cut. Doesn't stand up for women and make it clear that he stands up for women. Cut. Doesn't know how to be bored and enjoy his own company. Extra cut. Tells me a white lie. I don't care how white the lie is. Do not lie to me at all. Cut. I need to feel like you're my security guard when you're around. I need to feel like nothing in this world can touch me, or you're cut. Post on TikTok, cut. Gets drunk, cut. Doesn't work out, cut. Friends with cheaters, cut. Horrible eating habits, cut. Doesn't cook or clean, cut. Cheat on your ex, cut. Female best friend, immediately cut. Down talks an ex, extra cut. Doesn't provide, cut. Oh, of course, we know that. Plays video games, cut. If I don't feel like you'll drop everything at the drop of a dime for me, cut. Not thoughtful, doesn't take initiative to take things off my plate, cut. Not family oriented, cut. Curses or yells at me, cut. Not a good person to others, cut.
Man, ooh wee. All right, let me. Yo, the internet is an interesting place. I don't know whether to take her serious or not, so I'm gonna do my best to say maybe she's being serious for the most part. I don't know. There's this thing going on where people are talking about their program, and it's pretty much like what their boundaries are, and that's what I learned. Like I didn't even know about this. I tend to not listen to this stuff just because it's just so silly to me at times. I do think, all right, you should know what you are interested in dealing with. Like what are the things that you would deal with and the things you won't deal with, right? But all I heard was all the things that she wants. And it's so detailed to a point to where it's like, even if you qualify for 90% of it, you're still failing at 10%. And it's just interesting because this is how I like to look at things. Let me say it like this. If I have a program, quote unquote, which I do have, so like a person has to believe in Jesus, they have to be kind. I think it's appropriate to have some sort of fitness regimen, right? I don't have a ton of things on my list. In fact, I probably need to write it down because I can't think of that much right off the top of my head. But I also, when I look at the things I consider, I also then put the mirror on me, right? And I wonder if I would be reasonably positioned to be considered, as a good person for someone else. And I often think about that because I wonder if people who have these strict lists look in the mirror, But what I've learned more than anything, I'm telling you, what I've learned more than anything is that delusion is at an all-time high. There are people who, not even just this trend of sharing their program, was my program, they will look you right in your eyes and be delusional and be serious. Like, I can't imagine her getting on here and talking about her program and then allowing someone to then say, okay, that's your list. Now let me give you mine, and be honest about, like, okay, I can do all those things. Typically, when you start saying, like, for me, a personal preference is someone that doesn't, this is real, not just because it's her, I'm just being honest. I don't prefer heavy makeup. I just don't. Like thick eyelashes and drawn on eyebrows, and I don't prefer that, right? Her makeup, to me, it looked nice, but I could tell it was heavy. That's not a preference of mine. So imagine that being part of my program. So now it's like, because your makeup is too heavy, you don't fit the program. It's just like, do you really want that kind of, it's not even necessarily tit for tat, but it's like, do you really want to have to come into something with those type of considerations at the helm of it? I think her makeup looked nice, and I'm not just lying. If I didn't think it looked nice, I would just say it. It is a bit heavy. So even though I don't typically have interest in women like that, her makeup looked nice enough for me to have conversation. But if your program is too tight, too strict, you can't even have a conversation with a person because they have this one or two things that go against your program. Now you're not even able to engage their heart, engage, their life. You don't get to know about their creativity, their personality. Like you're making these decisions on this list, and for the most part, we come up with silly things. I'm just gonna keep it real. We come up with silly things, and we live in fantasy and delusion land, and we come up with this stuff, and it's just fruitless and pointless, But yeah, I'm sorry I got caught up with laughing, but I just want to say this whole my program thing, it reeks of my world, my way, or the highway. That's what it sounds like. That's what it smells like. It's like a whole bunch of me, and that's it. And I think this is the main reason why a lot of people stay in their delusion, why a lot of people end up unsatisfied because they're coming out with this list, and like if everything's not on this list, then it's not happening. And it just makes it difficult, not just for them, but for others to even have interest in them because they've already cut them off because of their my program list. But at least it was entertaining. It gave some room for conversation. And I'm not saying like just because you have everything going on your list and you can offer it to someone, that doesn't mean that's what they want. So the whole list thing, I think there's a space for it, but like this is something I always consider. Everything on a spectrum. You can have a list, but there's extremes on that spectrum. So you have a list that's just kind of like, hey, these are basic things I'd like for my person to, have a fit mindset, to consider what they eat, but they don't have to be a 5% body fat. I like someone who's financially sound. They don't need to make a ton of money, just be financially sound and not living above your means. I like someone who believes in Jesus. To me, those are realistic things to consider and to share. But when you start talking about, telling grown folks they can't have friends who have certain behaviors, because she was saying like, yeah, if you have a friend who cheats, then you're cut. And these people mean these things. They live in delusion land. And I'm gonna tell you something. I've learned this. Even in church, there are a lot of people, men and women, who live in delusion land. And the most that's going to happen is you're going to hear the message of Jesus. You're going to hear truth, practical truth, spiritual truth, and practical truth that will say, hey, you're on Delusion Island. Get over here. But it's not, Jesus is not coming to pick you up and take you off Delusion Island, bring you over there. You have a decision. As I like to say, you have free agency. If you choose to reject truth and you don't want to accept love and truth, you don't accept and have a love for the truth, then you're going to stay on Delusion Island. Not just spiritually, but practically. Not just romantically, but financially. You know, not just emotionally, but physically. Like, there are people who are in Delulu world, man, for real. And the only way to come out of it is to really, really, for one, get some Jesus in your life so that you can have a moral compass and a truth to align ourselves with, right? That's what he gives us, you know, be right with God. Of course, you know, everything that comes with the gospel, but even more so, like, you get to be in a community of believers who can speak truth to power in your life and tell you, like, hey, like, you tripping, like, that thinking is off. That's not realistic thinking. That's not realistic living, you know. But anyways, there's so much that can be said, but it's great for conversation. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Let's engage. And of course, I'll put the link in the description so you can, you know, check out the original creators video. All right, that's all I got to say about that. I'll catch y'all in the next video.